Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
A desperate cry for help and an effort to send a message to the VA. That is what Master-at-Arms Second Class Mark Miller's family says he was doing that day when he took his own life outside the Audie Murphy VA hospital last Monday.
Miller's dad sat down with the night team's John Paul Barajas to share his message and also remember his son.
Is there anything you say to Mark right now, if he can hear you?
My son, I love you with all my heart. I always will.
It's the same message 53-year-old Mark Miller, a well-decorated naval veteran, texted his dad Larry moments before taking his own life outside the Audie Murphy VA hospital April 7th.
I answered him back immediately. I say, son, I love you too very much. Give me a call. But he never answered. I don't know if he ever got that message or not. But I sent it right back. It was just minutes later that he put a gun to his head and shot himself.
In an emotional Facebook post, Dr. Miller said his son committed suicide because, quote, he was making a powerful statement to the VA and to the world on behalf of thousands of veterans.
He went on to write, I lay the blame for my son's death on the VA system and their psychiatrists who drugged him instead of helping him.
Absolutely, positively, they are at fault.
Dr. Miller explained his son served for 15 years and was the Special Forces sniper.
He did jobs that very few other people would be willing to do. And he really helped us, and he helped the country in a time of need.
He adds after his service came to an end in 2007, Mark's depression and anxiety became too much, and he had a plan to take his life.
Which was to go to Mexico and pick up his medication, his Nebutol, to take, and he was going to Costa Rica, go out in a boat as far out in the ocean as he could, tie a rope and a weight around himself and go into the ocean so we'd never know where he was.
Dad was tipped off, and with help, they caught him and stopped Mark's plan and got him on the road to recovery. It's a story of triumph the father and son made into a book, Suicide Stalks the Sniper.
And about the author, the very end of it, it said, since then, Mark has made a remarkable recovery and has dedicated his life to helping veterans and their families battle depression and suicide.
It's a tough, tough battle. It's a lifelong battle. It's like an addiction, it never goes away.
Which is why Dr. Miller says his son's actions were with purpose.
He said, can you believe what they've done? They're just like robots handing out pills to everybody, poisoning all of our people.
Dr. Miller went on to say he wants to see systemic change at the VA.
That's what they go through. One day they're high, one day they're low.
He now vows to fight to make sure his son's message is echoed and resonates. However,
what's your message to other veterans who might be in a similar situation as Mark and struggling?
Don't do it. There's always a way out. You're going to really hurt your family. And if you get to that point, you've got to reach out. You can't be alone. You can't do this by yourself.
John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
A father's message to his son. The local VA sent us a statement tonight. It reads, quote, we are deeply saddened by this incident and offer our sincere condolences to the veterans' loved ones. VA cannot comment further due to privacy restrictions, end quote.
And we also want to remind you that if you or someone you know is struggling, please don't suffer in silence. You can get help. One option is to call 988. That is the number to the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Now, after more than 3 hours of deliberating this evening, the jury has just sentenced Tamor McIntyre to 80 years in prison. Yesterday, that same Bexar County jury convicted him in the 2017 murder of Mark Saldivar.
Judge Stephanie Boyd has decided that sentence will run concurrently with the 55 years he's already serving out of Tarrant County. What I believe you're looking at right now is the mother of Mark Saldivar, who was the victim in this case, reading a letter to Tamor McIntyre. We, of course, have much more of this coming up on GMSA in the morning and tomorrow at 5, 6, and 10.
Now, in other news, San Antonio police released body cam footage of a deadly shooting between an officer and a suspect.
That incident happened almost a month ago on Birchwood Drive near Vance Jackson and Loop 410. A warning, some viewers may find this video disturbing. We're told all of this started with the suspect pulling into a gas station during a traffic stop. In that video, 43-year-old Miguel Marin gets out of the vehicle, starts running. You're going to see the officer get out here and go running after him. That chase then ends with the officer and Marin facing each other in a nearby alleyway.
And according to SAPD, Marin then pulled a knife on the officer. The officer then tried to tase Marin. In the video, you can see the officer drop the taser, and that's when Marin approaches the officer and picks it up. You're going to see that momentarily. Now, it does appear that the officer falls down while backing away. And that's when police say that he fired several rounds at Morin.
Yeah, there you see him picking up the taser that Stephanie was talking about. And momentarily, that's where the officer falls and shots were fired. Afterwards, police recovered the man's backpack, which they say had a handgun and drugs inside. The officer who pulled the trigger has been identified as Orlando Jimenez. He's been with SAPD for 4 years.
What happened?
I don't know how it started, but I just know when it happened, it just happened really quick, and I didn't know like what it was or how to react.
It's a former McCullough High School student who's revealing details about a sexual relationship that she claims she had with the school's basketball coach.
Last month, we were the first to tell you the Texas Education Agency began investigating Marcus Alvarado. He is not facing any criminal charges currently.
So as the student tells KSAT Investigates Daniela Ibarra, she's now coming forward to confront the rumors.
Was it wrong? Yes. It was completely wrong.
Why do you think it took so long for this to come out?
I honestly don't know. This just came out of nowhere.
This woman wants to keep her identity private to protect her family, but she wants people to know what she says really happened at McCollum High School.
Why did you want to share your story?
I wanted to clear up a lot.
She graduated from the high school in 2019. After losing a parent, she says she needed someone to lean on.
I was getting the attention that I wasn't getting at home from him, if that makes sense.
And that attention, she says, came from boys basketball coach Marcus Alvarado.
What happened?
I don't know how it started, but I just know when it happened, it just happened really quick, and I didn't know like what it was or how to react.
The former student says hugs in the hallway escalated into at least a dozen sexual encounters with Alvarado. She says it all happened here at McCollum High School in a locker room.
Like I felt like I was hot.
Who knew about this when this was happening?
Nobody but my friends.
It's why she was surprised the Department of Family Protective Services reached out earlier this year. The agency told us they're investigating the allegations against Alvarado alongside law enforcement. Records show he resigned last month. For weeks, we've tried to talk with Alvarado. We've sent emails, texts, made calls, and even stopped by his home. Alvarado has refused to answer.
Do you think he should be allowed to work with kids or work in a school again?
He was a good coach and a good teacher, but no.
For KSAT Investigates, I'm Daniela Ibarra.
We have asked Harlandale ISD several times for more information about the investigation into Coach Alvarado. That includes a copy of the investigation report.
So we know that Harlandale ISD is asking the Attorney General's office to keep it private, arguing that the information is confidential. And it's also, by the way, why the district spokeswoman is refusing to comment for this story.
We take the baton from someone and we pass it on to someone else.
Mayor Ron Nirenberg will hand that baton to San Antonio's new mayor in a couple of months. Today, Mayor Nirenberg delivering his final State of the City address. Mayor Nirenberg talked about some of his accomplishments during his time in office, as well as some of the projects that will not be completed under his watch. 27 candidates running to replace Mayor Nirenberg. And in case you're wondering, he's not endorsing any of them, at least not yet.
Okay, so speaking of choosing a new mayor, you can vote early starting 1 week from today. On April 22nd, polls are going to open at 8 a.m. and they're going to close at 6 p.m. Early voting runs through April 29th, and then you have Election Day, which is Saturday, May 3rd. "50 years ago this month, the South Vietnamese capital of Saigon fell to the North Vietnamese army. Desperate to evacuate as many people as they could, the United States military would fly helicopters out of the U.S. Embassy. Trin Warner and her brothers and sisters were on one of those choppers. She would come to America, learn English, serve in the U.S. Air Force, and eventually move to San Antonio. Tomorrow night, she is part of our KSAT News special. Tonight, she talks about how those Americans saved her life
and how she believes it's a debt she and many Vietnamese have tried to repay.
What was it like outside the gate? I mean, you weren't the only ones trying to get through.
It was crushing crowds. I think that was the scariest thing that I remember being small, was I was going to get crushed in this crowd. And we were all holding hands, making sure that we had contact with each other. But, you know, it was scary. I think with a lot of Vietnamese families that are refugees from Vietnam, they're going to tell you that they feel a sense of duty and a sense of having to give back to Americans who served in Vietnam. I know for me, I wouldn't be here but for the service members who went to Vietnam. And so a lot of us serve because of it.
You have met Vietnam veterans.
Yes, lots of them.
What do you say to them?
I just thank them from the bottom of my heart. I don't think they realize the legacy that they left in Vietnam to this day.
Tomorrow night at 7, our KSAT News special, 50 years after the fall, from Saigon to San Antonio, exclusively on KSAT 12 and our KSAT streaming platforms. Also right now on KSAT.com, my entire interview with Trin Warner. It's the latest edition of Spreester Sessions.
I want you to stick around. Coming up, this is an area that sees tons of accidents that can be avoided. Now some safety upgrades could be on the way. Next up on the Nightbeat, we're going to go back to Castroville Road.
How long do neighbors have to wait? Tonight in a Know My Neighborhood update, an accident-prone intersection on San Antonio's west side could soon see upgrades. But depends on your definition of soon.
Yeah, so the city and engineer firm Pape Dawson finished a traffic study on a stretch specifically of Castroville Road, and we're talking about the part between 36th Street and General McMullen. Neighbors there have been complaining about speeding and also pedestrian safety for years.
Tonight, 3 options presented to the community on how these safety concerns could be addressed. Here they are. Option 1, all 4 lanes are kept of traffic and current sidewalks on Castroville Road are made bigger. It would add 3 intersections with permanent traffic lights.
Okay, so option 2 would drop the road down to 3 lanes, 1 in each direction, and also a turning lane. It also keeps the current sidewalks and also adds those 3 traffic intersections.
And finally, option 3 drops the road down to 3 lanes. It expands the sidewalks. The option also includes stoplights. The director of public works says only 1 of those permanent traffic light projects has been funded, though, and the project has been delayed.
It is very challenging. We try to explain them because we wanted this project to be done last month or last year. We want to finish this one and go to other project, but unfortunately that's the reality. Everything is behind now.
So the funded project is right at the intersection of Castroville Road and Dahlgreen.
Yeah, the director says construction should start in late summer and finish by the end of the year. There's no current timeline for the city and community to pick which option will be pursued at this time. And like we said in our Know My Neighborhood way back when, we will continue to follow this story. It is Fiesta season. I'm not sure if you've heard. We're giving some medals away.
Yes, we are. The KSAT Medal Fund continues tomorrow on GMSA. So set your alarms for this because we want you to meet us at the address that you see there on your screen, 7407 Broadway.
Yeah, you can start lining up at 6 a.m. The giveaway will start at 7.
Okay, and I'm guessing there will be no rain at the time, right, Adam?
No.
We need the rain to come in, those water levels at the aquifer.
Yeah, I wish I could say you needed your umbrella because of rain, but you just need your umbrella to wait in line because of sun.
The sun, yeah.
It's actually, with Fiesta so late this year, I was thinking even having an umbrella on, on hand just because of the sun, right? It gets steamy this time of year. All right, let's take a look at the aquifer level. It's the lowest since 1990, and we have the list there going back the lowest level since 1993 because that's the year the Edwards Aquifer Authority was established by the federal government in order to preserve endangered species in the aquifer. So that's basically when restrictions and pumping restrictions were first made, started in 1993. So lowest level since 1990, stage 3 watering restrictions for SAWS customers. So on your watering day, you can water between 5 and 10 a.m. and 9 p.m. and 12 a.m. And my preferred method always, handheld watering. Any day, anytime. And there's actually a surcharge now for individual homes. If you use over 20,000 gallons in a month, then you're charged over $10 per 1,000 over that 20,000. So that's another element of stage 3. Rain chances, they're there, they're just not significant yet. Now, we may be increasing this Saturday night to 40 or 50%. We just need a little more information. But right now, we're looking at some isolated to widely separated activity Saturday night and into the very early morning hours on Easter Sunday. Now, I know this is often the case. We're on the tail end of the activity, and it's going to be the situation again. But other parts of Texas are likely to get some good rain out of this shift in our pattern. It's just going to be in North Texas, DFW area over to Texarkana, even East Texas. We're going to be right on the edge of it, and it's all your accumulation. Not everybody's going to get it, but say your neighborhood does, it's going to come down to where the downpours set up within the thunderstorm. Some boomers possible by Saturday night. So Saturday night, if you're camping in any of the parks or anywhere else, as an Easter tradition, have an extra eye and ear to the sky and know you may have to run to your vehicle to wait out a storm for a bit. So here's the pattern. Upper level high, big blue H. It's still blocking all the rain-making energy away from us. But the key is, this moves out of here. Finally, it's been in place for over a week now. This is going to slide eastward, and that opens the door to energy and upper disturbances. And we just so happen to have one in the Pacific right now that's going to slide into Texas over the weekend and bring some showers and thunderstorms. And I'm not ruling out a severe thunderstorm or two Saturday night into the early morning hours on Sunday. So you see that action from San Antonio northward all the way toward Texarkana, North Texas and East Texas. And then I think most of Easter Sunday is actually going to be pretty sunny and nice. I mean, dropping humidity and not bad temperature-wise either. So speaking of humidity and dew points, dewies right now in the 50s to right near 60. So not overly humid. We had that cool front move through earlier this morning. It felt nice outside. Once that front passed, we had that north breeze. Felt good. Not overly humid the next couple of days. By Friday and Saturday, we're in the thick of the humidity. Very, very sticky outside. But then behind another cool front Sunday morning, that humidity is going to drop throughout the day on Easter Sunday and really bottom out early next week, Monday and Tuesday. So some fluctuations in the mugginess. Tomorrow morning, right near 60 degrees to start the day. So a pleasant start. And then by noon, we're at 75, 85 the high temperature. Here's the key. And I haven't mentioned this yet, but it's going to be breezy every day until Easter. Southeasterly winds steady at 15 to 20 with some higher gusts. Afternoon temperatures back into the mid 80s. At times we'll get up to that 90-degree mark. We had a 5-day stretch of 90 or above at San Antonio International. Today we're only 82 for the high, so that cool front did us well. But notice the trend back into the 80s to right near 90 degrees. Oh, leaving you with a happy pup in the blue bonnets that time of year.
All right, lovely. Thank you.
All right, so how concerned should Cowboy fans be about the injury that put Dak on the shelf last year?
So Dak says he could play right now if he needed to, but he also said he's not where he totally wants to be. So we're going to see how this plays out. Nonetheless, Dak is at voluntary workouts right now, so that's good for him, right? And UTSA baseball, well, they will pump you up. We got the story coming up. The last time we saw Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott in a game was back in Week 8, a 27-21 loss at the Falcons. Dak hurt his right hamstring that day, and he was done for the rest of the season. Dak recently spoke with the media at an annual Children's Cancer Fund gala in the DFW area. He said he could play a game today if needed, but he's still not 100% 5 months later.
Yeah, I'm getting close to where I want to be. I don't want to put a percentage on it. Know we've got team activities coming up. Imagine myself being involved in some sort, if not all. But then again, understanding my age, what I've went through is it's about getting to the fall and being my best in the fall. So not rushing anything, but I'm where I want to be.
Here's Dallas Cowboys star pass rusher Micah Parsons showing up for voluntary offseason workouts at the Star in Frisco. He's entering his 5th-year option of his rookie deal, and he wants a big-time extension. Parsons often works out on his own before it's mandatory to attend, so this is a good faith gesture for sure. And in other news, Micah and Dak are thrilled Paige Beckers will call Dallas home after the WNBA Dallas Wings drafted her #1 overall last night.
Hey Paige, it's your boy Micah. Congratulations on being #1 pick. Super extraordinary feat. Hey, I need a jersey. Can't wait to see you and Enrique ball out. I think y'all about to change it around. Let's go.
Congratulations, Paige. Welcome to Dallas. Becker's Buckets is here.
And number 77, Tyron Smith will hold a press conference at the Star tomorrow. He's going to sign a one-day contract with Dallas and retire as a Cowboy after playing his last season with the Jets. UTSA football will practice twice this week and 2 more times next week, and then spring camp will be over with. After playing in all 13 games this freshman season, wide receiver David Amador II played in just 5 games last season due to a hamstring injury, and he had 31 catches for 376 yards with 1 touchdown. So how does he think he did last year?
Towards the end, I think I was pretty good. I did what I was supposed to do and what I had to do, just showing a little bit of what I can do when I'm, healthy.
And just a reminder that UTSA football will not hold a spring game this season. Staying with UTSA and the baseball team, during a recent game, it was easy to see that the Roadrunners were having a lot of fun while they're winning. Right now, they have a record of 28 wins and 9 losses, and they sit in first place in the AAC standings. KSAT 12 Sports' Nick Mantis went to practice today to find out what's made this team so successful.
What's made this team different this year?
I just think our approach is everything. Like, we expect to win every game, even if it's a big name when we face. We just expect to win. We go out there, hitting shown that we were one of the best hitting teams in the country. I mean, everybody is almost hitting above 300. Our lineup's super dangerous, and as pitchers, we really appreciate them.
Well, every successful team has a way in which it builds its camaraderie and brotherhood. And for these Roadrunners, they do that in the weight room.
One of the first weekends after an inter-squad, we went in the weight room, and the vibes were just... It was like a different kind of vibe. Everybody gets along with each other. It was like from that moment on, everybody was like, we kind of got that it factor, just that chemistry's there already. And I think that's when I knew that we could be something special.
It's awesome, seeing our guys getting stronger by the day and pushing each other, making it a competition is the best feeling in the world. And when you hit that tough weight that you can't get with all the guys behind you, it's just like this guy right here, Cade Sadler, when he's behind you on a bench or a squat, it's the best feeling in the world. So we're lucky to have a bond of brothers that are behind us and will support us throughout our way.
Nick Mantis, KSAT 12 Sports.
Thank you, Nick. Major League Baseball is celebrating number 42 after the break.